Hey, Mo's already in here. Okay, good. Because I always wait for someone to say there. I'm going to turn up the light a little bit. That's better. All right. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm pretty exhausted today, but hey, that's okay. I am going to go live on my OnlyFans after this to get a nice release, I want to say, on live, hopefully, before I call it a night. So that's, I don't know about you guys. I feel like that's always the best way to end off your nights and start your mornings. I love like late night orgasms and early morning orgasms. Yes, I am feeling better, although my voice is still not what it is, especially for someone that likes to talk so much. I feel like I can talk and talk and talk and talk. If you've seen me, on other shows or whatever, you know that. And as I talk, I can feel everything clogging up and then I can't breathe. But you know me, I'll still keep fucking talking. So I can't wait until it's like 100%, but I feel fine now. I'm actually getting back into the gym tomorrow. So that's exciting. I am Persian. So yeah, I will be going live right after this on my OnlyFans. If you're not subscribed, you should be because the lives over there are a lot really super fun. Hi, Eva. Glad you're here. I wasn't able to go live here last week, unfortunately. It was just too sick and too busy. But we're back. And I think either next week or the week after, I'm going to have the guy on that was supposed to come on last week. He wants to discuss he wants to argue for, he saw my Q&A where I said I just don't know enough about trans female athletes in sports, and he was like, I want to do, he's very pro female trans athletes in sports, which isn't a position, I mean, I feel like a lot of people, and like, I guess normal, like, you know, our intuition, at least even mine, is like, oh, I don't know about that, but I also am not super well researched. So he wants to come on and talk about that. So hopefully I got a lot for you. Thank you. Oh my God, King of the Hun is here. Okay. No, I'm not Arab. I am Persian. Costume OF stream. So if I can get a costume by, oh shit, is Halloween on Monday or Tuesday? It's on Tuesday, right? Because if it's Monday, then I feel like I have to do like a Halloween thing. What day is Halloween? It's Tuesday. Okay, then fuck you guys. We're not doing anything for Halloween. Maybe next week's stream, if this guy isn't gonna do it next week. I don't know. I'm a true crime fan, so I may do like a favorite true crime or some type of shit like that. Let me know if you guys have suggestions for like a Halloween stream. I don't have a costume this year. It's just been so busy, and it's really hard for me to find a costume for my body type like easily. Like I just can't go on Amazon or anything and just be like, okay, add to cart. So I need to think about it. And if I can get you on it, if I can get a costume, then I will. Otherwise, y'all are just gonna have to deal with me. Saw you on Destiny stream. Was cool seeing sex work perspectives on topics other than boring bullshit red pill talking points. Yeah, I think I'm sick of the red pill too. I just don't think, like, I feel like the arguments are old, the arguments are tired. Speaking of, you might see me in Destiny on the same side of a debate soon that we're trying to figure out. So stay tuned. He is probably my favorite streamer to like personally watch. So I think it'd be cool. So my moderator says trans are such a crazy small population that the right likes to focus on. It's not a bad philosophical debate, but one, yeah, I agree. But I mean, because people talk about it so much, I am like, oh, I guess I got to like learn a little bit about this. And this person was just really passionate about coming on. And honestly, and this goes for everyone, if there's something you're passionate about and you're not crazy, or even if you are crazy and you want to debate me on something, and I feel like you can at least have somewhat of a conversation. You guys know I did that stream with the benevolent philosopher who had messaged me some of his grievances about what I stand for and all that. And I had him on. So I actually think that would be a cool thing to do here and there, is to do debates with, or not even having dialogue with different people from my Instagram or other socials. So let me know what you think about that. Hey, do you think guys from Fresh and Fit are simps? I don't use the word simp, but they would use the word simp, and with their definition, then yeah. I like your nails, thank you. Where can I find your sex video? On my OnlyFans. Nice job exposing Fresh and Fit guy, a gameless goofball. Yeah, okay. If you're listening to him, hi, I saw you on Destiny's stream and have been doing your content ever since. Thank you. Yeah, I was telling my OnlyFans subscribers that recently, except for Soft White Underbelly, I got cool subscribers from Soft White Underbelly, but I never get cool subscribers from the Whatever podcast and Fresh and Fit because their viewers are like unhinged. But I did get some from Destiny Stream and they were all like really normal. So I was like, oh, okay. Because usually I get a lot of my subscribers from Reddit and they're like a mixed bag. But when you get subscribers from the Fresh and Fit audience, they like hate themselves. So it's like, you know. You look better without a costume, so no worries about finding a costume. I know. I'm such a bad, like, I'm not meant to do online. Like, I'm not meant to do like influencing online bullshit like that. Because I suck at it. Like, I travel a lot. And like every influencer, you know, I was just in Puerto Rico. They'll go to Puerto Rico and they'll take pictures, or they'll go to Miami and they'll take pictures. I don't take any of those pictures. Like, I don't like taking pictures. I don't like dressing up for Halloween. I just like talking and fucking and showing my tits. Like, so I'm gonna not I don't know what's going on in the comments, but I don't I'm not gonna like force myself to like be somebody I'm not and try to take those kind of pictures. Maybe I'll branch out and try it, but it's just not what I want to do. But anyways, today, I love those things you love doing. Okay, so a lot of people have asked me what if I've taken the political compass test, and I have taken the political compass test, but it was a really long time ago, and I don't like. I think I'll fall where I fell before. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was definitely libertarian left. I don't have any opinions as to how great of a test this is to test your political compass. I have no opinion on that, but I guess this is a popular test that people take online. And so I thought I would take it with you guys live and see what I get. And I think that some of the questions can also stimulate interesting conversations in the comments. So my I'm going to guess you're libertarian left. I'm pretty sure I'm libertarian left, but I still think it'd be fun to see, and maybe I'm sure, like, I even remember when I took it before, there were questions that I'm like, ooh, I never know. Like, sometimes I'm like, do I disagree or do I strongly disagree? Like, it's like, I don't know. I feel like those kind of tests, you always don't know what you're doing, kind of. What do you think about cosplays? I think they're really cool and great, and I highly commend the people that have the like ability to put it together, make it look realistic. I used to be a huge Carly Bible fan, which I probably wouldn't know who she is unless you were into the beauty YouTube world. She used to do the craziest costumes. Like, she probably still does it, where it's like she would completely transform into different characters, and I'm just not talented like that, guys. And my boobs are too fucking big. So it's, even if I go on like a site and I can't go small, medium, large, especially if they're like, you know what I mean? Because some parts of my body are small, some parts of my body are medium, and some parts of my body are large, and we need some support here. It's like a whole fucking thing. So like, I always tell Lana this, if you guys know my friend Lana, if you've been around, you know, she's famous for her dress hauls. Like, she'll go on TikTok and then she'll try on a dress and then she'll go to her closet and like in 2 seconds she'll come out in another dress. Like, I'm like, I could never. I would be huffing and puffing, and it's just not for me. You seem happier and warmer. Are you tired or have you evolved emotionally? Happier and warmer compared to when? Anyways, come to London in Halloween. No, I'm actually done fucking any politics. My politics are Spartan. Oh, I can't travel for like another month because I'm just sick of it. I have traveled, I think I've gone on 18 trips in 2023, and they're not like, you know, I'm not going to say they're not fun, but like, it's like LA, Miami, It's like, you know what I mean? And some of it was for work, a lot of it was, and it's just like, I want to stay here for a little bit. Okay. Because it's hard for me to get into a routine um, when I'm traveling a lot because it keeps breaking my routine. All right. But without further ado, I'm going to have my moderator uh, put up. Oh, look at that. We're going to take the political compass test. Have you been approached by any celebrities like in real life? No, I don't think I've even like seen celebrities in real life, like just out and about. Okay. So if economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. Ooh. Okay, my econ stuff is much weaker than my that, like, you know what I mean? Like my econ understanding and opinions can be swayed a lot more easily if I get more information than my opinions on social issues, because my social issues ones, I've done a lot of research on them. I know the arguments for the other side. I feel like I'm very well versed in them versus econ. But I think this one isn't really a question like that, because I think this is about kind of morals. And I would say I strongly agree or agree. See, this is where I always fuck up. Like, do I agree or do I strongly agree? Well, strongly agree, I want to say. So can we push that? Hey, what's up, Jazz? I have a quick question. I hope you're doing well and just want to say thanks for always trying to inspire the education of everyone in America. Is it okay if I am a part of your Discord? Yeah. I've seen you on here a few times, so we'll have my moderator send it to you. Will you do anything sex here or just an OnlyFans? No, just an OnlyFans. We're obviously taking a political compass test, okay? And I'm not even allowed to do sex here. So you have to go to my OnlyFans, which I'll be there in an hour and 15 minutes, where you will get what you want. I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong. Strongly disagree. I am like somebody who's vehemently against just blind patriotism. It just doesn't even make sense to me. Like, I think it's like such a pure example of not having critical thinking skills when you just play for a team and you're like, yay, America, no matter what. Or, you know, and I'm what is it? I'm dual cultured in the sense that I grew up in an immigrant, and I don't even feel strong bonds. I don't feel strong bonds to Iranian culture, although I respect and love parts of it. I don't feel strong bonds to American culture, although I love and respect parts of it. But I don't just play for a team. I take what I think are the best values here, the best values there, and I try to live my life in a way and with values that I think reflect my own moral compass. So you are my favorite model crush on Instagram. Thank you. The globalization question is complex because corporations develop things. That's what was kind of fucking me up about the strongly agree. And then I was like, well, but they also generate wealth on equality. So kind of advancement versus wage equality question. Maybe I should just do agree then, right? That's why I wanted to do just agree instead of strongly agree. But because I was like, there's probably, I know you can argue that to some degree, it's kind of like, okay, when people talk about vaccines and they're like, or people who create vaccines shouldn't make money. Well, we definitely want to have the best minds working on this stuff. And so there needs to be a big financial incentive for those super, super smart people to be doing this. Now, I have big issues with the pharmaceutical industry, but to say that, there should be no incentive for people to create cures and vaccines and medicine, well, I think that will deter some of the people that would do it otherwise. And we don't want that. Okay. So I guess change the first one to agree, Eli, just because I feel like there must be something I'm missing there. No one chooses the country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Well, I just went on this rant. I would say agree, maybe not strongly agree, because I wouldn't say it's foolish. I would say it's natural. And to a degree, it's good to like be proud of, who you are, and the community is usually all in your country, so it makes sense that you would have some pride in that, I guess. Our race has many superior qualities what do you mean our race? Strongly disagree. All right, that's an easy one. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Disagree. This doesn't make sense to me. It never did. I don't know about strongly disagree because I think if there's an enemy and you come together with your friends to even at other enemies to you know what I'm saying? um Indeed, and corporations do hyper concentrate capital, and that capital does generate innovation, plus the incentives for the best minds, as you say. Yeah. And I'm just not really well versed on how all this works. So, but my understanding, and at least what makes sense to me, is like, well, if I was a fucking genius, why would I waste my time or spend my time working on something if I wasn't going to get paid at all, or even adequately? Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. I mean, this is my philosophy thing. Like, well, sometimes, like, obviously, I can come up with hypothetical scenarios in which it would be just, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know about that question because my brain just goes into the automatic, well, almost anything is justified potentially in some circumstances. Like I could come up with something crazy enough. I know, and this is a interesting question with what's going on, but I just want to, with what's going on now, I don't think that I think international law ideally, should be followed right now, but I can see situations where sometimes it would be justified. So I guess I got to say agree, although the timing of this question. Thank you, and I appreciate. Do you have a link to the quiz so I can take it alongside with you? Great idea. Can my moderator link the quiz in the comments and pin it? Israel Palestine, anyone? I know you've gone right wing, dog. No, I haven't. I'm saying I don't. I am vehemently against Israel's actions right now, but the question, I have to think of it outside the context of Israel Palestine right now. And I would say that military action that defies international rights is sometimes justified. I think that I can conceive of scenarios in which it would be, although what's happening now is not in that group. I don't think military action that defies international law is currently justified in Israel Palestine. If we move towards globalization, will we still have need for money? If all of humanity is working towards the same goals, would not innovation be derived from the common good? I never seen Star Trek. I know it's crazy. Yeah, maybe. I'm not super confident in my ability to decipher all the sides of this issue. So yeah, let's put that up there. If other people have opinions, then share them. I'd love to learn. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. Strongly agree. I think that a lot of people watch the news, or they want to watch the news, or they want to understand what's going on in an entertaining way, which isn't always right. And I'm not saying I'm not guilty, like I don't fall victim to this. Like if there's like a heated debate on something, and even if they resort to name calling and stuff, like I might click on it more than like a 3-hour really calm now I pride myself in that I actually like both, but most people, and I think our mainstream media is a good example of this, and social media, that the more angry, the more drama, it's like reality TV almost sometimes with our news and how we get information. And that's not good, but I don't know if there's really a cure, because I think that's just how we are naturally, it matches our natural proclivities as human beings. Only a tiny minority of overachievers will be working 8 hours a week for the common good. I guess that's a response to what Typo Maiden said. All right, next question, next page. Sensationalism. Woo. Perfect. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. Not necessarily. I think people are divided by class, but I do think a lot of people also are divided. Okay, my monitor just said it wouldn't let me go to the next stream. the next screen without it taking it off the share. That's a very European take. Yo, I'm with you on that one. I guess disagree. Although I would say that depends, and I don't know which one is more, if that makes sense. Let me know if you guys have any opinions on that too, because you could definitely sway me. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. See, these are the ones that I'm like, I don't know. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. What do you guys think on this one? I need help with this. I don't do money and finance and econ or anything like that. I'm a dumb girl. Girls, I'm not financially literate. Just kidding. Opinions? Thoughts, feelings, concerns? All right, let's see what moderator says. I would say inflation is more important to control. That's where I was leaning. Depends on where. I think in the UK, class is by far bigger by the national. US, not so much. Yeah, okay. So I guess I'm answering for the US because that's where I am. I mean, they both impact the working class more than the wealthy. Oh, unemployment and inflation. I was leaning toward inflation, so I guess I'll say agree, unless somebody has a comment that they're writing and they're gonna tell me why I'm fucking wrong, because I'm open to that. I feel unemployment is more important than inflation. Can't save the economy if the bottom class has no money to move. But I don't know. I'm gonna say inflation, but yes, because once we generally hold assets, so cash depreciation less of an issue. Okay. I think it depends on the particular economy in question, requires a detailed. Okay. So maybe I'm taking these questions a little too like, what's the right answer, when it's just to test, like, I guess my brain and like where I fall politically based on my values, maybe more so than like, is this absolutely right for the country? Let me read like a bunch of econ books and see, and class feels very at play right now with the super rich not having to follow the same laws as the common. Yeah, I was thinking of the whole anti-establishment, drain the swamp, like people are really, but you also are seeing people, like working class people that are really split on their politics, for sure. Okay. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. Yeah, I strongly agree with that. I don't think corporations can be trusted to basically do anything that doesn't make them more money. Sorry, this is like really small on my screen. Maybe I can make it full. No, because then I can't look at comments. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need, is a fundamentally good idea. All right. Is that basically from each according to his ability to each according to his need? I just want to be sure on what this is asking. Okay. We're getting a inflation and unemployment debate going on here. So we'll throw those up on the screen if anyone's watching the replay. So you could read Typo Maiden, class feels, I already read that one, but then Piggly Wiggly said, ultimately inflation is a more generally dangerous. It's more of a disseminated suffering. Everyone feels it a bit, but unemployment hits a smaller number very hard. So it's kind of a little pain for a lot of people, or a lot of pain for a few people. That is how I was looking at it, to be fair. But I also, like I said, that's not a hard line for me. Whereas like some of the other stuff I answered, like, compare that to the question about races. I'm much more confident in my answer there. What do you guys think of this one? From each according to his ability, to each according into his need. What do you guys think of that? We're taking this test together. It sounds like a frog is in here. Needs greater than ability. I wish there was like a neutral option. From each according to his ability. Fundamentally, I think it's a good idea. I just don't know how much it works in practice. We're still working through this quiz, but so far it feels very right biased with the questions. I see what you're saying. Let's just say agree. And here's another right-wing trope under it. The freer the market, the freer the people. I disagree. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled branded consumer product. Disagree. I get it, but I disagree. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. Disagree. Where are my socialists in here? Gonna come for me? Is it regrettable? It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. Agree. I don't think everyone needs to contribute something to society, though. Like, you know what I mean? But ideally, I think it is regrettable. Halloween special fact. One of the most famous haunted mines in Sweden is the Silver Gruvan, I don't know how to say this, mine in Sola. The mine was in operation for over 1,000 years, and it is said that the ghosts of the miners who died there still haunt the mine today. I'm not a bot. Cool. I love Halloween used to be my favorite holiday growing up because I love all this spooky shit. You nailed it on the head. That works on paper, but absolutely not in practice. Those doing human or those dang, sorry, guys. I'm like, I should read the bigger one. Those dang humans mess it up. Us dang humans. That's why I always laugh. And I get in, this is like my new thing when people just talk about how horrible absolutely everything is and how horrible the vaccine response was. And I'm like, do you have any idea how hard it is to like figure out like what to, like, we're all humans at the end of the day doing, like, it's, you know, I'm sure if I ran, like I talk all the time, oh my God, the government's so incompetent, but I would also totally be incompetent or my government would totally be incompetent. Like, I think all of us are. You remember that episode I had that said everybody's full of shit? That was the title. That's kind of what I'm going with here. Like, none of us know what the fuck we're doing, honestly. And it's really hard to structure a society of billions or a world of billions of people and have it all be like super competent, you know, and have all, we get an unprecedented pandemic and everyone acts perfectly and nobody spreads misinformation and we have all the information and the vaccine's 100%. Like, that expectation to me is just really unrealistic. Jazz, good talking with you. I gotta go talk later. Wish you the best, everyone. Thank you so much, Twitch Mo. All right. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. Agree. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to a shareholder. Strongly disagree. The rich are too highly taxed. Strongly disagree. Anybody agree with that in here? Actually got into not a fight, but I got into a discussion with my dad on this because my dad was basically like giving me the whole save your money and some of it is getting taxed and blah 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 blah. You should, and I'm like, I'm okay paying taxes. Like, I'm just fine with it. Like, I think I should pay taxes. I just wish I could control where the tax dollars were going. You know, right now they've always been going to some questionable places. So that's the part I don't like. But I think people like me should be taxed more. And he's like, no, why? Because you know, blah 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 blah. And I was like, I really think that people in my income bracket should actually be taxed more. And I totally think that, you know, the percentage of taxes you pay when you're making, you know, pick your number, should be a lot, as opposed, like, once you have all your basics and you're living it up. Like, I just went to in Puerto Rico, I went to a birthday party. This was not something I would have ever gone to, but the friend I was with, was invited to a birthday party, and it is in Puerto Rico. A lot of people, as you guys know, you probably heard, that people go there to avoid paying taxes, and you have to be there for 6 months and a day to be a resident to avoid paying those taxes. So we went to they all live at this like reserve, and they all live in these houses, and they're all basically like stuck there for 6 months in a year. It doesn't have a day. It doesn't have to be like the same time. And they have like their group chats. They have their own restaurants. It's like a prison. It's like an outdoor prison for, and it's all like crypto people, like the Paul brothers, influencers, hedge fund people, Bitcoin people, like those type of people. And it's people that, have made a lot of money, and they are doing whatever they can to just avoid paying taxes. And to me, that's fucking pathetic. Like, pay your fucking taxes. Don't go hide off in Puerto Rico for 6 months because you're that desperate to not pay taxes. Like, to me, that's crazy. Like the point of money is so that you can enjoy it, you can give back. It's not to go fucking get in degenerate influencer group chats in Puerto Rico so that you can avoid paying even millions extra in taxes. You'll be fine. I've seen your houses. You guys are fine. Politicians are just big kids with bigger guns. So how much do you think income over 578K should be paying taxes? I don't think that should even be the like highest tax bracket, because I think it is now. I think like if it goes past like $1 million, you should pay more. I can't do the percentages though, because I've literally taken Econ 100 when I was like freshly getting my bachelor's degree, and that is it. So I don't, unlike a lot of people on the internet, I'm so uncomfortable speaking on things that I have done minimal research in. Like, I would feel like a fucking idiot to come on here and be like, inflation is really where we need, because I don't know much about it, but yet people on the internet, they love to do that. So I'm gonna refrain from giving you like, if I'm running for office, putting my tax plan on, like I don't have the skills for that. But in general, principally, I can just know how my values are that those that can at the top should pay extra in order to support the rest of society. I do believe in that as a principle. So that's kind of how I'm answering the question, as opposed to direct numbers and how I think the economy will be helped. My moderator, his name is Eli, and I asked him before if he is okay with me saying his name, and he said yes, but for some reason I still feel like it's my moderator, but it's Eli. They also cause localized inflation and housing issues for the residents of PR. Yeah, this was also a part I was really upset about. Is the friend I was with was discussing something that has to do with real racism, and the white guy whose birthday party it was, and I'm not going to mention his name, obviously, don't want to call him out, but he's like, oh, speaking of racism, the Puerto Ricans here are so unfriendly. They have signs. Some of them have signs that say "Go home, gringo." And he thought that like someone was just bringing up real racism that Black people face, and he was comparing it to going to Puerto Rico and people saying "Go home, gringo." Like, I feel like that's completely ignoring like systemic and institutional, like a bunch, like racism isn't just on an individual level like that, where you're super privileged and you come to people really unprivileged and they don't like that. You know what I mean? Comparing that to, I don't even want to say the situation that the person brought up, because I don't want to give too much information, but I was just like, this is not right. He was like, he never leaves the compound, the billionaire compound. And his fiance has left once, he said, to grocery shop, and he's like, and she was totally fine, like acting like the Puerto Rican locals were gonna like attack people for no reason. Like, it was just so I was giving me the ick. Even my friend like agreed with me, but they're just not as like I don't fuck with people like that. Like, I had an attitude the rest of the night. We ran into this other girl who was telling us about her party. She's like some billionaire wife, and then she's literally like, oh, I'm not going to bore you guys because she looks really bored. She really wants to go home. Like, yeah, I fucking want to go home. I don't want to fucking sit here and talk about your parties. Like, it's just not my personality. But anyways, that's definitely sidetracking. Sounds like Puerto Rico needs to be a state to fix that tax evasion problem. Okay, Jasmine, you are such a good human being, believing you have a greater obligation to society based on your income. If the 1% felt that way, we'd all be better off. Yeah, I'm not gonna, blame people for what they believe, but I am doing great. I'm very lucky. I have more than I need. And even an extra $100,000 for me spread across people. Like if it was actually being used in the right way, oh my God, I would do that. Like spread across people who that money is actually going to help better their lives, whereas my life is already pretty great. Instead of just packing it in my bank account and trying to avoid taxes moving to Puerto Rico, I just think you're a fucking weirdo if that's how you live your life. But that's just me. Do you think you lose incentive to make more if it's just taken by the government? I can see that. That's why I'm not saying like 100%, right? Or 99%. But I also like, I don't think that people should be making, and it's crazy because it's super rich people. They all use loopholes and they don't pay their fair share at all. I think even if if the super rich even paid what they were supposed to pay right now, we would be better off. But I don't believe in a fixed tax rate for everybody. Like I don't think that I think 15, let's say percent of your income when you're making 40 or $30,000 a year is different than it's losing that is different than losing 15% of your income when you're making $3 million a year. And for me, like yeah, of course, I'm going to write off what I need to write off. I'm running a business. I don't like to just give money to the government, especially when it's taxes. I don't like where our taxes are going. But to me, I'm not going to sit here. And the way people bitch about taxes, especially rich people, I'm like, it's just gross behavior. My moderator says if you make 8 figures a year, 90% tax. Yeah, 8 figures. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think taxes as a deterrent to wealth hoarding isn't a bad thing. That's what I think too. Now, I'm also open to like, oh, if this happens and people like, I'm aware that there may be unintended consequences or things I'm not considering as it pertains to the economy. But I also, in principle, do think that people, and I'm a capitalist. So again, I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist. But I will say that the people who are making like so much money that they have everything they need and more, and their kids have everything they need and more, there should be taxed at a higher percentage. I would be okay if I was to. Again, my main issue is not paying taxes. It's that where is this money going? Like right now, it's going to help Israel. Like, I don't like that. So that's not something we can control though. I don't think he realizes the damage that has come with non-POC coming to PR, taking over the government, and literally building gated communities to keep native PR out and leaving them to delve. Yeah, I don't think he realizes that either, which is okay. It's okay to be ignorant. It's okay, but you do have a responsibility as someone who is worth at least a few hundred million to go into a country and at least be cognizant so that you don't sit at a party and tell all of us that you experience racism because you're white. And people in Puerto Rico are upset with your community coming in and doing what you're doing because you don't want to pay taxes. Even though some of them were worth like $9 billion. Pay your fucking taxes. To me, it's not even worth it to sit in like one island for 6 months with all other people who are, and like, it was honestly, to me, I even told my friend, I was like, this is like it's like a horror movie. Like, I feel like Murder in the like Billionaire Compound is like a fucking great movie because it's like nobody's there except you guys. Your kids all go to school together. The kids all play with other billionaire kids, and everyone's just in this little, I'm like, for what? For taxes? Come on. You guys are fine. Okay. I'm loving the discussion in here. Israel is a major L, right? I mean, I don't think the situation is super, like anyone who thinks it's really clear cut, I feel like, because the more I read, the more I'm like, what? But right now, and I think in general, Israel is a major L. Being ignorant is fine. There's an opportunity for growth, but conflating a group of people not liking you for creating real-time damage to a movement where people are separated because you think they are lesser is unacceptable. Exactly. The friend I was with is a person of color, and they were talking about a project they did where people were giving really racist feedback to, like genuinely, and he was describing like the stereotypes people were using, like just really horrible stereotypes about the Black community. And he goes, speaking of racism, They say go home green. Can you believe it? I was like, come on, come on. You need to know better than that. There's no excuse. You're a grown ass man. You need to know better than that. All right. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Disagree. Disagree. And I will admit, like, like I had when I went to urgent care the other day to fucking get I went scuba diving and water got in my ear and I couldn't hear for a week. It was a whole fucking thing. I was like, fuck, I hate waiting here. I wish I could just pay to skip the line. Like even I was thinking that. And I was like, no, it's nobody should get more or less care because of how much they can afford, even though when you can, you want that. It's not. It's completely contrary to my fundamental beliefs. In fact, I think anyone should have access to healthcare, no matter, even if you don't make a fucking penny. I believe in universal healthcare. I think healthcare is a human right. Listen to Dr. Finkelstein, as I say Finkelstein, a Jewish scholar, son of Holocaust survivors. He's pro-Palestinian, has debated about it for decades. I'm pro-Palestinian too. That's where I would fall on the issue. I'm just not. I grew up. I'm Middle Eastern, and I grew up with people, and I had friends that are Palestinian, where they were like, it was like I visited Israel once, and they like on its excommunicate. Like it's like really bad, to the point where they were like the Harvard students who I think that that letter they wrote was like, I don't agree with that. So that's what I'm saying. And because that's becoming from Portland, a super, super liberal area, and coming from the Middle Eastern culture where like it's like no nuance, Palestine good, Israel bad, in all situations, no questions asked, I'm not there. However, I'm also definitely not pro-Israel at all. And I think what they're doing right now is an absolute fucking disgrace. And we should all use whatever power we have to and international pressures to get them to stop displacing, killing civilians. I understand situation is complex, but I don't think it's so complex that it justifies what's going on there. People are conflating Hamas with the Palestinian liberation. Those Harvard students were dumb as fuck. I agree. and I've seen that my whole life. If you're pushed hard enough, I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I was having this fight with my mom. I'm like, if you're pushed hard enough, you don't know what you would do. I'm like, Mom, if you're pushed hard enough, you go and you fucking start raping people. And no, you wouldn't. Right. So we can't pretend that this was justified. The attack on Israel was justified in any way. We can also say that now indiscriminately bombing churches and bakeries, and that's not okay either. So again, I don't think you can push me to kill kids. Yeah, you really can't. And they're like, well, what if someone came and took your home? I'm like, yeah, still not raping and women, killing kids, beheading people. I'm not butchering people and screaming, cheering and putting bodies on the back of cars and parading like naked people who just went to a fucking music festival and like that's not okay. I don't care how hard anyone's pushed, but I also think that that's obviously not Palestine. That is, and Palestinians shouldn't pay the price for that. Neither country is a good guy in this conflict. They're both wrong and doing horrible things. The only acceptable thing is peace. The only thing I don't like about this whole both sides are wrong is that one side has all the power and like it's not neutral because one side is disproportionately harming the other side. Now, I agree with you that if Hamas had the power, there's no moral equivalence between Hamas and Israel. I think Hamas would kill as many, like they want to kill everybody in Israel. I completely agree with that. But the reason when you go, there's no good guy, everyone's bad. Well, one side is massacring the other. Like most of the Israeli deaths happened on October 7th. Since then, I'm not too worried about them. I'm worried about I think how the death toll is like hundreds of people a day, children who are on one side of the issue that are still being affected. And that's the only reason I can't do the whole both sides and I'm neutral, because there's one side being slaughtered right now as I guess collective punishment, revenge for a completely horrible thing that happened to another side. But how long are we going to do that? Are we going to do that until 2 million people are dead and keep saying, well, there's no good guy? Well, no, at some point we're going to have to be like, enough is enough. you were wronged, but you've been in the wrong now for 3 weeks. Stop. Eli says, this is what I was trying to explain to my mom. If Israel is trying to brand themselves as a democratic nation and Hamas is the terrorist, the majority of the responsibility of ending the conflict should be on Israel. Instead, they are just prolonging it. Yeah, I think Israel is better than Hamas. If it was Hamas killing people, I don't think us doing anything would matter. They're going to kill as many people as they can. They are monsters. I'm holding Israel to a higher standard than Hamas because I don't think they're morally equivalent. And I think what Israel is doing is disgusting. Okay. The beheading babies was debunked, so for the record. Yeah, the beheading babies was debunked, but killing babies or killing children, that's definitely happened. Killing grandmas, raping people. We saw the videos of them beheading dead bodies. Like it was just brutal. Yeah, the body cam footage the IVF showed foreign journalists today might have undebunked that. Okay, so I haven't been following exactly what's debunked and not debunked, but I think I can adequately say that what Hamas did was just absolute barbarism, and that what Israel is doing, I don't care exactly who fired this one rocket. Israel is bombing churches, bakeries, hospital, like it's happening. And I don't think just giving people a warning to escape to nowhere is enough of, oh well, they warned you, so you know what I mean. Okay, I don't want to derail too much into this. Israel fighting Palestine is literally shooting fish about. Oh, that's the reference to that Egyptian guy that was on Piers Morgan. And I disagreed with a lot of what he said. I think he spun things a lot, but I do agree that, like, you know, how much of a victim are you when you can put your entire oppressor under siege and annihilate them in 2 seconds if you want to, you know? And you're doing it kind of slowly. Okay. Back to this. Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Agree. It depends. Like, mislead is kind of weird. I'm gonna interpret that as spreading misinformation in order to sell a product. Yes. Israel fighting Palestine is literally, okay, I actually read that, sorry. A genuine, I didn't know I was making a reference. That just came to my, okay. I think he was saying it's gone viral. It's like this Egyptian guy that was on Piers Morgan, at least maybe in the Middle East community, it's going viral. Israel also has Palestinian occupied apartheid. Yeah, I get it. So although not morally equivalent, the IDF is not free from torturing and kidnapping Palestinian kids. Yep. 100% true. You know, I don't think Hamas is the end all be all excuse. The West Bank doesn't have Hamas. It's not like things are great there, you know? Okay. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. A genuine free... I would say agree. Am I reading this wrong? My point here is that I don't believe in I want regulations in place because I think a free market doesn't lead to the best. So I guess I want the government to come in, like I just said, and stop misinformation, stop monopolies, stop price gouging. I am in favor of all that, and I feel like this question is teetering along those lines. Next page. I know that your screen stopped sharing. That's okay. Monopolies are always bad for the common person. Yeah, definitely. Okay, abortion when the woman's life is not threatened should always be illegal. Strongly disagree. See, these are the ones that I'm like, and there's nothing you're going to say to. All authority should be questioned. All authority should be questioned. See, maybe I'm just thinking about these too deeply. Like, I think, for instance, like, no, it should still be questioned. I would say agree. My only point here is that when people like let's say, like, take the pandemic, for example, when you think that somebody who is in the who's when you think the experts are nothing now and you're equivalent to the experts, or your uncle John is equivalent, like, that to me is like, in that sense, the scientific authority or the authority on something that's very complex, difficult to understand. I think experts should be respected, but I think they should still be questioned. I don't think anyone should just blindly follow authority. So again, maybe I'm just overthinking some of these. Monopolies are inherently anti-capitalist because they halt competition. Yep, really biased questions. They need a neutral option. I know, yeah. I'm like, all right. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Strongly disagree. If you guys know anything about my free will stuff, I actually don't even think anyone should be punished for punishment. I think people should be punished because we needed to survive as like a utilitarian perspective or deterrence. But I don't believe in revenge and punishment, although I completely get that those are definitely natural human impulses. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Disagree. I think there are things that as a society, as a culture, like our national parks are, you know what I mean? That I like that. I like that they're available to everyone. There should be some common spaces, like in especially museums, theaters, parks that should be free of that. All right, schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Depends what school. Obviously K through 12. Yeah, I think it should be compulsory. Not like every single day, but I think that yeah, you should be going to school as a kid and it should be required. So agree. Base free will doesn't exist. I don't think it exists. Yeah. Which means that the whole idea of like punishing somebody, and again, I know it's definitely a natural human response. Like if somebody wrongs me, I want to wrong them back. But when I'm actually thinking with my rational brain and not my emotional brain, I can understand that, again, if you guys want to listen to that, see, I did a stream on that a while ago. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. Okay, disagree strongly. Lots of unconfirmed right now. We'll see what outlets report on what. Okay. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Disagree. I would even say strongly disagree. The only thing I wouldn't, strongly disagree. But I don't think like if you've been spanked, you're like fucked forever either. But I don't think you should do that. I would never do that. I was not spanked growing up. I don't think it's effective. But there are some people who also are like, you're just go to jail if you've ever. No, I mean, that's different. Okay. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Agree. I mean, does anyone here literally keep 0 secrets from their parents? Okay. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Strongly agree. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. The prime function. I think the function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs and also lead like a healthy and happy life. So I don't think it should just be jobs, like, even financial literacy, how to navigate, how to better communicate. I guess you could say that helps you find jobs, but you know what I mean? There's just life skills that I wish they would teach us in school alongside just the basic math, science, whatever. But I would say agree. I would say maybe the prime function is to help the kids be successful later. No free will argument. The free will argument is one of the main reasons that we can. That's really interesting. I feel like a lot of us on our, I guess, philosophy journey, we become we hit atheism before before going down the free will rabbit hole. But that's really cool that's where you got it from first. As a teacher, I agree. Okay, cool. We got a teacher in here who agrees. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Disagree. The most important thing for children is to learn to accept discipline. I don't think that's the most important thing for children, so I'm going to say disagree. There are no savage and civilized people, so there are only different cultures. Ooh. I mean, I would say there are no savage and civilized people, but I would say there are I think this is a question about moral relativism. And again, this is coming from my take. I think that there are cultures that I don't think every culture is just equal. Like I think cultures like Iran, and it's not a culture, I guess it's just a government, but you could argue in some places it's the culture as well, especially in rural areas. I think cultures that like kill people for, being gay and those kinds of things. I'm not one of those people that's like, well, that's just their culture, bro. Like, no, I think that's wrong. Even if I don't have a basis for objective morality based on my values, my principles, I don't find those as just equivalent. So, but the savage and civilized is just like ugly language. So I don't want to agree with that. I'm just going to say disagree. Yeah. You would strongly agree. That's the language that's often used, though. But if it's all just cultural relativism, I'm not somebody that believes in cultural relativism when it comes to human rights issues. I don't think it's just your opinion, bro, to not give people human rights. So savage, civilized question is bullshit. Moral relativism is garbage. Yeah, the moral relativism is because I feel like if you agree, you're basically you're basically adhering to moral relativism. I just don't like the way the question is phrased. I disagree. I agree as well. I disagree strongly with teaching primarily being to ready people for the job market. It should be a part of education more than it currently is, for sure. But we have a duty to teach people how to critically think. That's true. How to critically think and have a broad understanding of things like language, math, science, things that help us understand. I would say the function. So they say in law school, I've said this before, they always say, oh, law school doesn't teach you a lot. It teaches you how to think. I wish you didn't have to get all the way to law school to start learning those things. So, I agree with you there. When we look at countries that don't look like ours, we call them savage or not part of the civilized world. Even some Western countries view the U.S. as savage or not civilized for the death penalty. I agree. The only problem is with cultural relativism is I think human rights should be respected everywhere. I think they're fundamental rights. And if there's a culture that's like, actually, we just want to kill women for, having premarital sex, I don't think that that's just like your culture, bro. So that's kind of where I want to disagree. Damn, your lawyer talk. I see your point too. This test is fucked. Yeah. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. See, I don't like this question either, because what do you mean able to work and refuse the opportunity? Like, how many people are able to work and refuse the opportunity unless they're extraneous? Like, there's other circumstances like addiction, something that is making them that way. You know what I mean? So I'm going to say disagree, because I just don't think there are people who are able to work, don't have any confounding issue, and just choose to just not do any. Like, I don't think that's really a thing. I think that's like a really these people just want. It's like these people just want to be homeless. Like, no, I don't think they want to be homeless. I think they want to be homeless because we gave them a house and they left it. Well, there's mental health issues, there's drug issues. Like, nobody just wants to be homeless. No one just feels like being homeless and digging through the trash for food. I disagree with that. So I think that's kind of what that question was reminding me of. Moral relativism is slippery slope into justifying shit like American slavery. I doubt the postmodernists that are culturally relativists would agree to that. Yeah, so moral philosophy is really hard. I have not been able to concretely have some type of basis for objective morality. I'm very much like, we have these moral preferences and we have our moral inclinations, and we go based on that, our intuitions that most people share. And to me, I think it's really obvious at this point in our evolutionary history trajectory that we should know that slavery is wrong. And if there's a culture that still engages in slavery, I don't respect your culture. And I don't think that's just a culture. Now, I'm not going to call you a barbarian and I'm civil. Like, that language is just so loaded, but I'm going to say you're wrong. Even though I guess I don't have divine command telling me that, I still truly believe that it is wrong. Oh, I know some straight up bums. There are people in high school who I know who have literally been offered jobs by their friends' parents' friends, and they said it was too much work. I just don't meet people like that, so maybe I just am ignorant to that. But in general, that just reminds me of I think obviously you can find cases where it's true, but in general, it just reminds me of that, oh, if you don't have a job, it's because you're too lazy kind of thing. Able to work and refuse the opportunity. Red pill will argue fall under that category because of the OF2B. Well, society is not supporting me. Okay, I'm supporting myself through people who enjoy and want to support my content. I'm not getting any handouts from the government. Hi. Someone just said hi. Okay. When you are troubled, it's better to not think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Okay, it's better or it's what I do because I definitely think about it. I don't think that keeping busy with cheerful things fixes the issue, although I think sometimes like distracting yourself, focusing on other things can be smart, but not as like I mean, that I feel like at some point you need to be able to problem solve and figure things out. So I'm going to say disagree. I don't think it's better one way or another. I think it depends. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. Disagree? Fully integrated? What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for us all. Strongly agree. I'm just kidding. You put the mouse in the right spot. Disagree. Strongly disagree. um, had to play a prank on Eli there. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Eli's like, I panicked. Should receive public funding. Depends on what the public funding is contingent on. That's the thing. If it's just public funding and you have full journalistic discretion and you know what I mean. Morality can be seen as objective if we agree that humans want to move away from suffering closer to well-being. How can murder? So you're taking the Sam Harris moral landscape approach, which I like. And I think on a basic level, he's right. But philosophically speaking, I don't think he uses the like analogy to health, and I get it, but I don't think it really solves much to look at it that way because, you know, it's really hard to come up with a moral fact in the same way that you can come up with like gravity works or the earth is flat. You know what I mean? So I think it's not a simple thing. And religious people think it is simple but even that's not simple because, it's just not easy. There's no immorality, but I think it's dangerous framing. Yes, damn, someone reads. I do like reading. Okay. Oh, if you guys saw my stream with Lauren De Laguna, we reacted to some red pillar who was reacting to me. And if you guys remember when I was on Fresh and Fit, someone was like, do you just read this shit all day? And I'm like, yeah, I like to be well informed. And he like paused the video. He's like, girls who look like this don't read. And me and Lauren are like, I'm like, let's go. I feel like on Fresh and Fit, French is like, name 5 books. And I was like, please ask me that. Because if you ask me that, I think we should go one book until one of us runs out. Because I know it's not going to be me. But reading Sam Harris' book is still surprising. Yeah, actually, he really convinced me on free will too. That little 80-page, I think I did a whole stream on it, that little tiny book. I feel like everyone should read that because it's super easy. The moral landscape is a little denser, so I wouldn't recommend that to absolutely everybody the next chance you get, because I think you could finish free will in like 1 to 2 sittings at most. And I think it's so easy to read for everybody. So, see, like this, yeah, his free will books and lectures are great. I think his free will argument is way stronger than his books. I don't believe in free will than his moral landscape argument, but I think it is a good framework. If you're willing to accept a few things, then I think it works, but you don't really have a basis for accepting those few things. That's kind of my issue with it, but I digress. No broadcaster independent should receive. I'm going to say disagree because I think that really depends on, like, if there are rules in place that don't allow that you get the funding and you have full journalistic integrity, then I think that's okay. But if you don't, if the funding is, you know what I mean, contingent upon not having that full control and integrity. And I think the public funding should be contingent upon you acting with integrity in broadcasting. But there's, you know what I mean? I'm just going to say disagree because I don't have any of those questions answered. Love Sam, but his politics are abhorrent, to be honest. His whole contextualization of the yeah, I watched him on trigonometry it was a couple days ago, and he just I do feel like he's just so blinded on this issue. There's a couple things that he's just, you know, I would defend him even when he would say what he used to say about Islam. Me coming from the Middle East, or my parents coming from the Middle East and growing up with that culture, I defended him a lot, but I do think he just kind of gets this tunnel vision of like, Hamas bad, if terrorism always bad, we must stop this at all costs. We must, like, he gets like crazy with it, I think. All right. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Agree. Patriot Act. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political no, disagree. I don't think that's even like, you know what I mean? A one-party state avoids all arguments of the parties. No, I think the progress, I think people would still have disagreements and we would still be we wouldn't all be on the same page all of a sudden, okay? Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Disagree? We're all being spied on. Okay, I'm yapping anytime. Well, actually, appreciate this. Yeah, I watched that too. He has his blind spots. Eric Weinstein said some interesting things. Yeah. I think, was it Brett that went crazy, or was it Eric that went crazy on the vaccine shit? Because it was insane. Singapore is a good case study for that. Okay. That's what Eli said. Type. Thank you. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Okay, my take on the death penalty, I'm going to say disagree. Because I don't think I'm anti-death penalty, but I would be somebody that's open to like a consequentialist argument of like, this really works in deterring and we only use it in these, like, you know what I mean? Like that, because as you know, I don't even believe in punishment as or like punishment as a justification for taking away anyone's liberties or killing them. But I don't know. But I'm generally anti-death penalty. I just think there are things that could convince me otherwise, but I don't think any of those things currently exist in our modern society. Brett thinks COVID causes Israelis to be on. I think that is something Brett would think. I don't know what happened to Brett, but he just went off the fucking deep end. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. I would say that some level of like, you know, like even the way we have things set up where you elect local people and those local people represent you, and then you go into like and then you have national represent. Like I think that makes sense, but I don't think they're there to be, they're here to obey them and we're here to be commanded. So I'm going to say strongly disagree because of that language. Deterrents aren't effective for everyone. Some people may just need to go. When you know free will doesn't exist, the death penalty seems even more absurd. I know it seems really absurd, but then when you don't believe in free will, then the only justification you have for even jails is deterrence and the safety of, the well-being of society, right? So, and I think if you read the free will one, Sam makes pretty much the similar argument of like, I don't think it would even change much in our justice system because we still need to lock people up for deterrence, etc. What are these fucking questions? I don't know. This feels like a class stratification question to me more than levels of government. Exactly. That's why I answered the way I did. That's what Eli just said. I feel like these questions are just getting more and more myself. I know. I'm like, who is wording this? But this is apparently a neutral test, but I have some issues with these questions. Hey, Eva, are you familiar with Ayla? I feel like Ayla should have done these questions. I haven't ever taken, I just know that she does surveys and is like a major researcher on I think she does like topics pertaining to sex and relationships. I don't know too much about her. But I feel like from what I've seen, she does a good job of asking really. I'm actually just trying to get her, because Trent Horn and I are going to do a debate, and this is what we're figuring out the logistics of. This is the one where Destiny might be joining me, but my first choice and their first choice was Ayla, like me and Ayla on the topic of is sex work good for society versus those two. But I can't really get a hold of her, and from what I know, she doesn't generally like to debate. So I don't think you'll be getting a me and Ayla matchup. And I think it would be epic. Okay. As a teacher, I disagree with having an authority figure, but I can see the importance of having one. I mean, when you're a child, yeah. As an adult, you need an authority figure. I think you need structure, but this obey command shit is not, no. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Disagree. These questions are crazy. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Well, strongly disagree. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. Well, some criminals? I do think there are some criminals who wouldn't be at least rehabilitated to a level that we would deem acceptable to roam free in society. I guess agree, because I do think there are some people who just, but I would say those are really rare cases, and that we should always try. So I'm going to say disagree. Why not? How often do you read? Like, are you currently reading any books, or is it on an on-off thing? I'd like it to be more of a daily thing, but sometimes, like this past month, I've hardly read because it's just been sick and traveling. I'm currently reading The Righteous Mind now, which I'm enjoying. Maybe we'll talk about it after I finish. That was not the nature of the question, though, was it? I don't know what the nature of these fucking questions is. I'm one of those people who because the wording impacts everything. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Disagree. I would say strongly disagree even. I think there's a reason that writers and artists for so many years has almost kept the human spirit alive and taught us so much. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Strongly disagree. No one has a duty to be a mother or homemaker. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. See, I don't know about this. I feel like, yeah, I would agree. But I just feel like that's what's happening. I don't even know. Strongly agree. Okay, I'm going to do strongly agree because Eli Wood knows me, and I just don't know very much about this issue, but yeah, my guess would be that. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. What? Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect. Okay, I get it. Depends on the establishment, though, right? Like, you making peace with an establishment is a sign of maturity as long as the establishment has basic, you know what I mean? So I'm going to say disagree because it depends on, what that establishment is. I'm going to say the results of this quiz are severely suspect. Strongly agree. How much longer is it? We got 15 minutes. All right, we're going to go a little off page 5 of 6. Okay, I think we're good. Astrology accurately explains many things. Strongly fucking disagree. Y'all know how I feel about astrology. We don't play that. Don't ask me my sign. Don't ask me my moon this, sign rising that. You cannot be moral without being religious. Strongly disagree. Although I think it's sometimes harder to come out with an objective reality or objective morality without religion, but I also think religion doesn't give you a strong one. So charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuine. Nope, disagree, strongly disagree. Some people are naturally unlucky. Agree. It is important that my child's school instills religious values. Strongly disagree. In fact, I don't think religious values should be instilled in at least public school. You need an axiom to establish morality, basically a definition of why something is bad. Yeah, but the problem with religion is they have that, but it's such shaky. It's just like, okay, well, why is that the source of? Oh, it just is because it is because I feel like it. Okay, well, I could say, like I said, I could say Harry Potter is where I get my, you know what I mean? It's still weak if you don't have a justification for it. Exactly. It's circular. So sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Strongly agree. No, disagree. Now you're just blindly following me. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from possibility of child adoption. Strongly agree. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. Strongly disagree. I'm just strongly agree, as it is my job. What goes on in the private bedroom between assaulting adults is no business of the state. Strongly agree. I don't know who if you disagree on if you pick anything but strongly agree on this, I want you to not be in my country. No one can feel naturally homosexual. It's so unnatural to be homosexual. Strongly disagree. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. Disagree. The only reason I won't say strongly disagree is I'm sure somebody could come up with some example of like something to for your, you know what I'm saying? He's your editor, you hide him doozy say, talk about setting him up for failure. To be honest, all justifications are, yeah, exactly. Like, you can't even, I mean, people say you can't get an ought from an is, but it's really hard to just get an ought in general. Wait. Yep, right winger definitely. Okay, so let's see what I got, guys. Ta-da! The last section, Eli says, was written by Rush Limbaugh. I mean, the whole thing might have been. Okay. Okay. Wait, does it say what I am? Okay, do you guys even agree with go up? Do we agree with their characterization of where they put people? Left, libertarian, authoritarian, right? Okay. Why is there no one on the libertarian left, though? Is there just no country that they could put? You said on a podcast you don't like going out. Is it because you're neurodivergent? Probably. I just don't like going out because I don't like to be in social settings. I usually prefer to be alone unless the setting I think will be stimulating to me. And a lot of times, like parties and stuff, it's just a lot of small talk. You know, where like I'm the type of person that like I just want to go up to someone and be like, "Oh, do you believe in free will? Do you think it really matters if we die?" Like I'm just a fucking weirdo. And most people are like, "Oh, the weather. Oh my golly gee, the weather has been." I'm just like, I can't. I don't want to. 6 countries not enough of a sample size. I agree. All right, let's go to where I am. Dun dun dun. Oh, libertarian left. You're not surprised. So it looks like I'm pretty far left. And I fall on the liberals. That's kind of where I thought I would fall. But again, I don't like this. Oh, I can get a free political compass certificate. Yeah, definitely something. Eli, please get on downloading and mailing me this. Can Can I share my results? Yeah, everyone, if you took it alongside me, let me know what you guys think. We got like 9 minutes, so Bernie left. I'm glad Uruguay and Switzerland share ideological systems. Economic, left, right. Oh, wait, how'd you get scores? Where the fuck is my score? Oh, okay. Okay, social routine. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna take a picture of this, so because people weirdly ask me this, like they think this is like an excellent quiz to take. I'm like, now that I've taken it again, I'm like, no. I did it once. I was almost exactly in the center, just one notch to the left. Okay. We need to find another quiz for some other time. It feels more neutral in its questioning. I mean, I think I would argue that I'm libertarian left. I'm not libertarian on economic issues, but I am pretty libertarian on social issues. Like, to me, it's very simple what two consenting adults want to do, or even what a consenting adult wants to do. That doesn't harm other people. They should be allowed to do it. Like, that to me is pretty clear, but I don't take that approach in like the free market or like, it'll just fix itself. We don't need a federal minimum wage. Like, no, we do. Oh, do the "Are you a fascist" one. Actually, very interesting. It's actually interesting, or is it like, I mean, I'm gonna, I may be biased, but I don't perceive myself as a fascist. Next time we'll do that. If there's any other quizzes or whatever you guys want to do, we can. Hopefully next week, if that gentleman isn't on, I'll actually like prepare for something. It's just been so hard. And my friend was in town until today. I didn't take the quiz, but most of my answers were similar to yours, Jazz. All right, guess you're libertarian left. And if you would like to print, you can even have my certificate if you want. No, it's actually interesting. And it said I'm not a fascist, so we're good. Great. Did anyone take it and it said you are a fascist? I would love to know. This is equivalent to the Myers-Briggs test, subjective and not good enough to determine / quantify anything. Yeah, Myers-Briggs, I feel like what the problem is that people are just too egocentric in a way. It's part of where it comes from. And whether it's astrology or Myers-Briggs, now I think Myers-Briggs has some more evidence behind it than astrology does, or even like attachment styles. Like, are you anxious? Are you avoidant? People just identify with their shit way too much. And it becomes like you know what I mean? Like if you're anxious attachment style and you're like, oh my God, I just have an anxious attachment style. So now I'm blah, 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 blah. I'm clingy. I'm this, I'm that. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or you see this with astrology, which I fucking hate, because at least attachment styles have some scientific psychological basis. When people are like, oh, I'm a Taurus, so I'm stubborn. It's the Taurus in me. I'm a stubborn. And it's like people just start putting themselves into these categories and thinking this is like, oh, this is going to give me some information about myself. If I read my Myers-Briggs really well, then maybe I'm going to like, no, I think all of it should be taken with a grain of salt, and some of it should be completely like astrology should just be eliminated. I mean, obviously I'm on the libertarian left, not the authoritarian left. So I'm not saying that I'm coming for your crystals, but I'm going to use my freedom to talk about why your crystals are stupid. It gave you a percentage. Most people have a bigger percentage overlap with fascist ideology than they realize, which is why it's interesting. Okay. You're not a Stalinist. Okay. I'm quickly taking the quiz for shits and giggles, and I'm already stuck on the information and entertainment question. It was yeah, I know. The questions were just written in a way that like, I'm like, if you mean it this way, then I would say this. If you mean it that way, that's why I think they should have at least done a neutral option. So that I could have picked that sometimes rather than just picking my interpretation of it and going, Last time I took this test, I was center right while being a 5%er / Black Panther. Okay. Made me realize the horseshoe theory is real. I sort of believe in the horseshoe theory. I think it's overused though. How big of a tip to mix the sexy stream with the "Are you a fascist" test? I don't know if OnlyFans is gonna like that. Plus, OnlyFans doesn't let you share your screen, or it's pretty shitty technology over there. All right. But speaking of, I'm going to be over there in 4 minutes for a much sexier stream. Thank you. And especially thank you to get the name Nova, or not Nova, Nav AK. Thank you so much for all your commentary. I don't think I've seen you in here much before, and it was really cool to get your perspective. Thank you, Eva, for always being here, Piggly Wiggly, Typo Maiden, my Discord crew. Always have fun with you guys. That's why, even though I've been doing a lot more, I'm really getting into YouTube. New video up tomorrow. I'm like, should I stop the Twitch streams because I'm just doing so many other things? But I'm like, I don't actually really want to stop. I like just once a week getting together with you guys and just shooting the shit. So I want to continue to do that every Monday when I can. Also, it's great seeing you collaborate with Destiny. Yeah, stay tuned. You may be seeing some more. Great stream as always, Ash. Thank you. Have fun on the sexy stream. Oh, I will. Mwah. See you guys next week.